Episode 2 of the On the Air podcast starring you and today's guest, free-spirited, world traveler, writer, storyteller, and dominatrix, sometimes controversial, all times real. You can find her on Twitter at Diva Monroe to you, ho. Please welcome Miss Monroe. Miss Monroe, how you doing?
I'm good.
Thanks for joining the show. Thanks for joining. All right, so we're going to jump right into it. You are one of the more, how can I say this respectfully, one of the more sexually liberated people on the timeline or on social networks, and I would like to imagine that extends far beyond social networks.
Of course.
Absolutely.
Far beyond.
So based on some of the things that we see and some of the things that I've read and certainly some of the conversations you and I have had, you have such a high definition view of sex. I mean, you're so liberated when it comes to it. It's empowering. Have you always been that way?
Yeah, actually I have. Just even growing, I don't want to say like growing up like a little girl, but, I started having sex at an early age. So, yeah, all throughout middle school, high school, college, yeah, I've always been sexually liberated, or as most people call it, a slut. Oh. So, yeah.
How does that term bother you?
It used to, when I was younger, and I was like having, I would have sex with a boy and then he'd go and tell his friends I'm a hoe. And I'm like, damn, like, I just fucked you. Like, what? How did that work? Like, we just did this whole, like, snuck you in the window, you know what I mean? And we fucked. And then you go back and talk quote unquote bad about me. And then I realized that it was, it's almost like, just the same way when people like call you ugly or call you, just unattractive, boys in general. They still like to tease you, they never really get over that sort of teasing and their ego and, that sort of stuff. So that shit doesn't bother me anymore. Like I get called a hoe probably 2 times. I could check my mentions right now on Twitter and be getting fucked up. So that shit doesn't bother me. It doesn't move me at all.
It's almost like from an empowering standpoint, you've kind of, because I see you use the term hoe and hoeing. I see you use that a lot. It's almost like you redefined it. What is hoeing to you now? What does that term mean to you now?
I think that, being a sex worker, I know that a hoe is literally someone who gets paid for having sex. Paid for selling pussy, paid for, in some aspects of domination because there's some penetration there. Not my part, but providing penetration. So hoe to me is someone who's selling sex. Sometimes I joke around with it, like last night I was talking about, I wanted to get my pussy ate. Mm-hmm. And it was funny because I was scrolling through numbers, to see who I can call, and I scrolled right to my boyfriend's name. That was funny, and I tweeted about it, and somebody was like, oh, so your boyfriend doesn't do it good? And I was like, no, he's great. I just feel like being a hoe. Oh. So it can be kind of, I think it's funny. I've kind of owned up to it on Twitter anyways. Nobody in real life ever called me that, like, ever.
Okay. All right. So wait. So you were scrolling in numbers and you weren't calling your boyfriend. So is your boyfriend aware? Like, are you polyamorous?
No. We have been polyamorous in the past in the sense of bringing other women. He's not, like most black men, they're not really with bringing in other men, but most men in general, not just black men. But no, he doesn't. He knows his girlfriend. I'll say that.
What does that mean?
We have talks about, have you been faithful this week? Have you
Have you been faithful this week?
Yeah, I mean, I take it week by week. I take it week by week. I'm faithful this week. Wait, what's today? Yeah.
Today is Saturday.
I've been faithful this week. So, yeah. I mean, tonight, though, might be a different story.
Okay. All right. So, and he's cool with that?
No.
So, what are those conversations like? Let's say if this week wasn't a week that
Why?
you were faithful.
Why? Last week I was in Dallas and actually met on Twitter that we've become really, really close. And so him and I hung out, but we didn't have sex. But on the opposite side, one of my dudes from Houston came up and visited me, and we went out, went to Benihana's, went shopping, went to the strip club, just kind of did a whole date and fucked around. And when I got back, he was just kind of like, so, I know you was out there with one of the niggas. I'm just like, don't ask, don't ask questions you don't want to know the answer to. And then that started a whole day of arguing, but.
So wait, you say this was someone
What can I say? I mean,
you say this was someone you met on Twitter. I'm sorry, it looked like the audio kind of cut out a little bit. You said this was someone you met on Twitter.
No, the first, I hung out with a guy that I met on Twitter.
Okay.
That I've been friends with for like almost over a year now, honestly. But the other guy was somebody I knew from Houston. So I hung out with two different guys that last weekend. And my boyfriend just kind of, was you out there with one of your Houston niggas? Was you out there? I know you niggas out. And I'm just looking at him like, let's keep the conversation to a minimum if you don't want to know the answer, because I'll tell him, tell him.
Why does all right? So if you guys don't define yourselves as poly, why does he deal with that?
Generally, he doesn't ask because he knows not. I mean, I don't want to say he knows like I'm a boss bitch or some shit. Like he knows not to ask me, but that's not what it is. He's just kind of ignorance is bliss almost. I try to keep him from that. I try to make sure I obviously I stay protected, and I just don't be sloppy with it. I'm not like, fucking posting hella pictures of me and a nigga at the club, on my Facebook or no shit like that, which is what he would have access to. He doesn't really follow on Twitter. But I think he puts up with it just because we're new. We're back, we're new still. And I haven't quite put my feet in the cement, if that makes sense. Like I haven't kind of said, okay, all right, let me try to really cut off my hose. Like I did cut off my hose, which kind of fucking pissed me off because like tonight he didn't want to come to the fight party with me. But if I still had all my bae hoes, my bae niggas, then I could easily went with one of them like it would be no thing. But everybody has plans, I stopped talking to niggas for him, and then he doesn't show up when I need him to, and now I don't have a nigga to fucking hang out with. Like, so whatever. The question as far as why it's up with it is because he knows me. He's known me. I mean, we fucked the first time we met, so he knows me.
All right, so I guess the question is because at this point, like you define him as your boyfriend, and likely he defines you as his girlfriend, and it's like he knows that you out here cheating. I mean, not even technically.
I wouldn't say that he quote unquote knows. He has suspicion.
No, y'all have had the conversation.
We have had the conversation. But I'm not. I guess for me, like cheating is not a. it's not. It comes in stints. It comes in periods of time. It comes in hours and days and minutes. It doesn't come in. Like I said, I'm faithful this week. You know, so I'm faithful. That's not, doesn't mean I'm not faithful. You know,
well,
I
well,
guess people
well,
just have to.
well, define that then. Well, is I'm not been faithful this week, but it doesn't mean I'm not faithful.
That means that I have been faithful this week. I have not cheated. I have not quote unquote cheated. I mean, like, whatever. I guess I'm in denial about that, but I have not stepped outside a relationship this week, so that means I'm faithful. Next week, if I cheat on him, that doesn't take away from the week before.
I,
Where
I,
I
I,
was faithful.
I get you. So here's how I look at it, and this is just kind of the part where, people just kind of want to stay in their own lane as far as their business is concerned. The way
Mm-hmm.
I see it is this: I think with him, it's far beyond a suspicion. Like I think he knows, but he's still there. You guys define your relationship how you guys want to define it. It may be
Mm-hmm.
unorthodox to some, but if he likes it, then I love it. You know what I mean? My
Yeah,
question is, what if, what if he wasn't faithful this week?
that's not his personality.
But though, if he did though, like if he went out and you asked him, hey, I know you were out with those chicks the other night, whatever, and he kind of just told you, how would you feel?
That has never come up. We've been together 5 years, like on and off for 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
And it I have never had to, well, there's one time I would say, but we weren't together and that was just me being like possessive. But there was only, I would never suspect him of being with another woman, like ever. If I walked the house and there was 10 butt naked bitches in there and he told me he had to let him in because it was cold outside, I would say, okay, and our next question would be, is these bitches fucking? That's like what, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But it would be, he's not an unfaithful man. He's a one woman type man. He was married for 10 years, then he was single for a year, then he was in a relationship for 2 years, then he was single, and then he met me. So he's very one relationship, one direction, Southern man.
Well, let me ask you this, and please take this in the spirit in which it's intended. Me no disrespect at all, but is he a cornball?
No, and a lot of people get that. Actually, I'm very sensitive to him. I am. He's the only man that I've ever, ever wanted to have a baby by.
Mm.
He ever, kind of, when he says no, it's like, okay,
Except for
but,
messing with other dudes.
and I try not to. I really do. Since I like really said, okay, this is it. I put like our little picture on Twitter and was like, all right, I'm on relationship Twitter now. I put it on Facebook, like, trying to ward off all my other niggas. But, and I mean, like I said, I've been faithful this week. It's been a week since I did that. So far, a week into our new relationship, then yeah, I've been faithful. But it's old habits that die hard. It's not even necessarily about, it's not even about sex with other people. I think that's where people get cheating misconstrued. Like, oh, you just want to have, sex with somebody else, like your boyfriend's not good at sex or your girlfriend's not good at sex. Or it's not about sex. It's about a different experience, a different personality, a different you when you're with someone else. So I miss being able to be a different me when I'm with somebody else sometimes. Like him, I'm a good girl.
Mm-hmm.
With other niggas, we riding. I'm fucking. I mean, when I used to do drugs, we doing coke. We fucking at the strip club. We throwing money at bitches.
Mm-hmm.
My boyfriend ain't about that. He's not. That's not his element. He don't like going to strip clubs. He don't like. He don't like all that craziness. That is me. So that's why we're together. He mellows me out. Fucking always on the fucking edge, trying to do some crazy shit. He's always in the back, like, just take a few steps back. Let's chill.
So he balances you out.
Definitely balances me out, which is why I choose him above all.
That's awesome. Have you? I think I know the answer to this question, but have you ever been faithful to any guy that you've considered your boyfriend?
Um, I think, honestly, if I can really think about the longest time I've ever been faithful, like the longest period of time, it would have had to be like a year. And that was with him. I was faithful for a whole year. Now, faithful meaning I'm not having sex with other people. However, still flirting online, you know, sending nudes, receiving nudes, just still to some form of cheating, which we did have issues with that.
Mm-hmm.
Him and I'll never forget when I like hurt him, you know, when he kind of found some shit in my phone. But um, a year, you know, I've been faithful for a year with my ex-husband. I was faithful for 8 months, you know,
Mm-hmm.
but that was short-lived and that went down horribly.
What did he? Well, before we touch on that, what did your boyfriend know? What did he find in your phone? Well, one, why was he going through your phone?
That was I said, and that's why the shit didn't match up. Like, okay, I see that you see that I'm texting somebody else, but why the fuck you got a phone in your hand? Like, I mean, I was asleep, and I woke up to him like holding my hair up, like, you know, kind of I'm asleep, but he's holding my head up, but by my hair. So I'm
Hmm.
like waking up, and he has my thumb in my face, like damn near touching my nose, and he's like, "What the fuck is this?" And so he releases, you know, my hair. I kind of look at my phone with one eye. I look at him like I can't. What? I know what he's talking about off top. I already know. But I'm like, I don't know. What are you talking about? Let me see. Oh, you know, that's just me talking, you know, and it didn't go well, you
What
know.
was it? Some text messages or something?
Yeah, it was text messages between me and a coworker that he had already had suspicions about, and honestly, I wasn't doing anything with that coworker.
Yeah.
I wasn't. I was, you know, interested in him. He was kind of an asshole to me, but once he kind of started making comments, we started working out the building together. Once he started making comments, I was like, well, you know what? Shit, let me see what this nigga about. He see something I don't see. Let me talk to this dude. And we did end up actually having a sexual relationship, and we're still friends to this day. I talked to him last night.
Oh. Okay. Cool.
Yeah,
So.
but it's just bad, you know. It is bad, you know, because I am trying to be faithful,
Well, I mean,
but
as long as you know, I guess
I'm striving.
you putting your best foot forward. I guess that that's you know what though. I guess trying is better than certainly not doing anything at all. Like, is it is it a struggle for you, or is just having sexual contact an impulse for you?
It's not the sexual contact. I can talk to a million niggas and only talk to my boyfriend. Like, really. It's not the sexual part. Sometimes it is, you know, but mainly it's not. It's really just about having different conversations, you know, being with different people. I wouldn't say it's a struggle regarding the sexual contact. It's hard. Like I was at the bank the other day,
Mm-hmm.
and a guy is talking. You know, I'm in line, and he's like, you know, how you doing today? I'm good. You know, as he's asking me, you know, what was I doing, and I was just like, oh, you know, he asked me if I was going to Vegas. I was like, no, you know, I got other trips lined up, and he's like, oh, what does he think about that?
Mm.
That's him asking about my boyfriend.
Right.
Now, the inner me is like, oh, that's my cue to be like, oh, he's cool with it. He's, you know, we're going together. But the slay me is like, there is no he.
So what came out?
There is no he.
Is it like is it a game to you? It
It
clearly it's entertaining on some level.
it is entertaining. I think it's entertaining because I can I have this. Oh God, I hate to say it like this, but I do have this like way of pulling men in
Okay.
and making them kind of do for me. So I'm used to that aspect. Kind of like, okay, well, you're going to come in and you're going to be my nigga that pays my phone bill. You're going to come in and you're going to be the nigga that takes me out to a concert next Saturday. Like, even all with a boyfriend, I just kind of, it's still hard for me to let go of that, let me use these niggas mentality.
Does a dude, in order for you to have some form of contact with a dude, I guess in this scenario, be it sexual, is it a situation where the dude has to be in a position to do something for you? Like he has to be a utility to you of some sort.
Mm, I almost can't think of a. I mean, I can think of situations
Or
where
does it just happen to just work out
maybe
like that?
no, it's pre-planned always. Like I don't even set. I mean, what's the point of me even entertaining you if you can't contribute to my livelihood?
Mm-hmm.
One, two. Sometimes it is just about okay. Let me see what he about, see what he got. See, just kind of get in his head, play the single girl role, single good girl role at
Mm.
that, and then decide, okay, he got a little money, or he don't have a little money, but shit, his I like the way he talks. I like, when I smoke, oh, I could just go smoke with this nigga, whatever. And then maybe if I want to fuck him that day, I'll fuck him. But it is usually on some what can you do for me type shit, which I think everybody should think like that. But
Is that your
yeah.
approach to men in general?
um, I think because I've been in several relationships where a man was quote unquote broke. No, that's not my approach to men in general. That's my approach to men outside of my situation. Because if you can't contribute to the kingdom, then I don't have time maintaining you. I don't even have time. Like me and my nigga go eat off you.
Well,
You know.
well, damn. What's my am I being roped in? No, actually, I'm helping you do.
Now
I'm helping
I
you
was
do a
gonna touch on
website.
that.
Shit. I'm helping you get your site out. Oh goodness.
I mean, that's immediately what I said. Like, okay, yeah. I mean, first, I should have led off with this, but thank you for taking the time to kind of interview me. I think it's I think it's very interesting, to have somebody say to me, "Hey, I want to interview." I'm honored.
Well,
I do
shit.
appreciate.
I thought I had a choice in the matter. It seemed like I did. No, I'm clowning. I'm clowning, and again, I appreciate you for coming on. You and I, we're cool. I'm just messing around,
Yeah.
but yeah.
But
It
I did kind of tell you what my needs were before we proceeded.
well, you asked if I could help,
Yeah.
and you kind of lucked up because if I'm I'm the type of person that if there's something that I can do to help the next person, then I certainly will. I have no problem with the barter system whatsoever. I think the barter system
Right.
is a great way to contribute to the health of a village. I think the
Right.
barter system helps with so great. And for the record, we're not fucking. For those
For
listening
the
at
record,
home,
we're not.
we are not. I
No.
because
Let me
what?
stop.
Whoa, wait, what?
No, let me stop for your girlfriend so I can get in my mentions.
Right, because my girlfriend listens to this. Just for the record, everybody listening,
Hi.
yes, I will be helping her with her website. She was kind enough to do the interview. I can't pay her for it. We're working on the barter system. Just do me a favor, Monroe. Just let everybody know we ain't fucking.
We are not fucking.
All right, good deal. All right, disclaimer is out there.
No, you're not the first person to ever have to kind of do that quote unquote disclaimer. I've had, male friends who are like, come here and tell my girl we're not fucking. It's like, goddamn nigga, like, I can't just, like, you just came in, you just came in here yelling and she yelling, or she in my face, like, oh, yeah, I know you guys
well,
been friends for a long time. And next thing you know, it's like, I know you fucking her.
well, you
It's,
know,
it's all
you know as well as I do, like women kind of sniff that out with other women. Like there's a whole nother realm to the interaction between women and women that men just aren't privy to, and I don't
Right.
even like try to figure that out anymore.
I
mean
just I just told a whole I just had a whole series of tweets about that the other day, like jokes. You know, my nigga telling you jokes, bitch. You don't have to laugh till you fucking doubled over. That ain't it. Ain't he ain't that funny. You know what I'm saying? Like I chuckled. He ain't that fucking funny. So I already know what time it is when a bitch doing all that, or when she laughs and she touch his shoulder. We went out to Chili's the other day, and the waitress, she came by and she's talking to. We're with my parents. She talks to my dad. Takes his order. She talks to my mom. Takes her order. She comes to me. She takes my order. And when she gets to my boyfriend, she touches his shoulder and was like, "Go ahead, up." That's a fucking violation. I already know what time that is. Like, don't be fucking. You know what I mean? If you're not fucking both of us, and you ain't got no reason to be touching on him.
Did you check her?
I looked at her,
Oh, well, that
and
was enough because she
when she
knew.
left, she knew. I looked at her, and she knew I knew what the fuck she was doing. And I told my boyfriend, he knew too. He was like, "Yeah, she want that." I was like, "You think that's funny, nigga? Like this bitch better fucking eat off this $2 2 for 20 nigga because she ain't getting it. I ain't fucking with her."
And that's interesting because I was just telling my girlfriend today, we were having a conversation about how when she and I first met, and I was just telling her, I was like, well, the thing about what I've learned in my experience about women, women don't put their hands on anything they don't like. Like when a woman likes something, she puts her hands on it, anything, period. So yeah. So it's I'm slowly coming along in terms of just that whole other world that women their interaction, which again it's fascinating, kind of scary at the same time, but yeah. So I mean, as far as the disclaimer is concerned, like yeah, I mean we're good over here, and that was mostly more humor and anything like that. Like I don't think anybody
Yeah,
would
I
think
mean,
that, but
no, I wasn't trying to poke fun at you and your girlfriend.
no,
I
no,
mean,
no,
I
yeah,
get
yeah, I know, and trust she knows too. I mean it's cool. So
what she look like. Let's talk about that later.
well, I mean she's beautiful, tall, long legs. She's she. So you about to get me off on a whole? See, I'm smiling. You got me. I'm blushing. Like no, stop. This is. I'm the interviewer.
I'm very into women as well. So I like. Sometimes I feel like I like women more than men, but it's only because of the different layers that there are to women. Men, top layer is sex to me. Top layer. Women, they kind of have to kind of get to know you before they kind of open up a little bit, especially with another woman, and I like that.
Okay, so have you always been into women? How did that? Or if not, when did you first discover? How tell me about that time.
My first kiss was a girl.
Oh, okay.
In first grade, excuse me, first grade. Um, and her name was Rebecca. And we were in the bathroom. And so I just used the bathroom, kids have energy, whatever. I'm running around the bathroom. I wash my hands. And she was like, "Hey, Monroe, come here, come here, come here." And so I walked into the big stall with her, and she kissed me. She just leaned in and kissed me, and then ran off. And
Did you like it?
I did like it because I never stopped. I still remember that. I mean, I remember her name. I remember her. And she was my friend, just, until got out of middle or elementary school. But I did like it. And I don't want to say that necessarily started my interest in women. I think that awakened my interest in women.
Okay. So let me ask you this then. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and you may have already mentioned it. So are women versus men? Are women more of a utility to you and a play and something to play around with, or is that more with men?
That's more with men.
That's more with men. So
With
with women, it's a little more serious.
I wouldn't say serious. Women, I don't try to game them up. There's enough men out there doing that. Now, have I gamed women up? Yeah, those that want to be. There's some women that like that. That like to. There's some women that like to be gamed and like to be played with. Believe it or not, but I don't necessarily utilize them. It's different ways. I'll utilize a woman in the way that she's gonna fuck me and my boyfriend. So sure, I'm gonna be nice to her. I'm gonna tell her my life story. You know, we're gonna hang out. We're gonna get our nails done. But when you come to the house, you're gonna be sucking my man dick.
Mm.
So that's one way. On the other way, on the flip side, it is I want her to myself. So it is a little more intimate. It's a little more uh, late night conversations. It is a little candlelit dinner. It is, more of I would take the role if we're going to, play gender roles. I would take the role of the man in that situation, just kind of, swoon her.
Okay. Have you? Well, no, I'm not. I'm not gonna answer that one. That's. Well, we'll get to that in a second. But well, you know what? I will do it. Have you had a girlfriend? Have you been in a relationship with a woman?
Oh yeah.
Like just you and her.
Just me. Well, me and her and the niggas that were fucking, together. Yeah.
But this was your.
Not,
I mean, in terms of, for all intents of and purposes, a monogamous relationship. I mean, granted, I mean, I understand the dynamic there, but just it's not a trio. It's you and her, but y'all just happen to bring in other dudes.
it was just me and her,
Mm-hmm.
and we did happen to bring in other dudes, and that's how we had sex.
Ah, okay, okay.
Hmm.
What was your first time like with a woman when you finally, I guess when you finally, I don't know if the term is accepted, or when you realized, or when you came into your own with women?
It was in high school, and it was with a white girl named Nicole, and this is why to this day I don't like white pussy.
Oh
Like,
goodness.
yeah. I thought I was ready, like, okay, sucking on titties, that's whatever. That's like level one. So,
Hold,
feeling on her, I'm
hold on.
really
Let me
attracted.
let me give this disclaimer. I just want everybody to know that listening to this show, the views and opinions expressed as far as white people are solely no, because we like everybody in all
Wait,
races
your
on it. No,
girlfriend?
I was just playing. I was just joking. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, okay.
I was just messing with you.
Your girl's black, right?
Yeah. She's black. She's black. Yeah, she's cool.
Okay.
But I
We
mean,
had to
for any potential guests that are listening, I know it's a really trying time right now in terms of race relations, but
white pussy is fucking disgusting. Period. Okay, let's just cut to the fucking chase. It
okay.
looks raw, like raw chicken, raw fish. I call it tilapia pussy. Like, it's so gross.
Oh goodness,
Like, I feel like I'm sick to my stomach thinking about it.
how rude are you?
I'm telling you, it's disgusting. So I just couldn't. I got down there, and I'm like getting ready to lick her, and I'm looking at her pussy like, what is this? And I didn't understand the wetness. I mean, I'm a high school student, so she was really, really wet. That combined with blonde pussy hairs, I was like, nigga, I will never fucking eat pussy ever again. Like, scarred me. Couldn't do it. I'm not a lesbian. I don't like bitches. Can't do it. Fuck it. I'm about here.
Mm.
And then it wasn't until I met a woman, a black woman,
Mm-hmm.
who was straight, and I fantasized about her, and I wanted to eat her pussy, like wanted to. So that craving of, okay, I want to do it. 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 I was older, like in my 20s. Um, and I hadn't ate pussy since that white girl. And that just kind of turned me out to white bitches, like, boop, done deal, close that door, not for me to happen. And the first time that I got to eat her pussy was kind of manipulated. It was manipulated because, again, a girlfriend, but I didn't know we were going to be girlfriends. Just at some early stages of our friendship, we're hanging out, we're smoking, we're chilling, we're doing all this, and then we were seeing men together, like having threesomes, but not threesomes, tag teaming. Me and her didn't interact.
I got you.
And I had sex with this guy, and his dick was really great, and I told her about it. And she said, oh, I want to see what it's about. And that was the first time I ever put it together, like, oh, she wants to fuck the same guys I want to fuck. So we called him heavy hitter because he was a heavy hitter. So,
okay.
So heavy hitter, he came down and he fucked me, then he fucked her, and he fucked me, and he fucked her, and eventually, like, we all had this like agreement. He on the time he fucked both of us. So on the side, I told him, I was like, hey, I kind of want to be more intimate with her. I want to be more interacting with her. So I want to eat her pussy. So I want you to set it up to where I'm eating her pussy, so that she didn't get, because she was straight, and I didn't want her to get me to come on to her the way that I wanted to. Because if it was me, I would just ate her pussy. Let's get it in.
Okay.
But I understood that it was layers and steps that I had to make to, in order to make that happen.
Mm-hmm.
So I told him to set it up and, kind of, tell her to get in this position and then tell me to do it, kind of demand that I do it.
Right.
I'll be reluctant so that she sees that I'm like, oh, are you
playing
okay
the role
with that? Playing the role. And then I'm going to go for it. And so he was like, okay. I mean, no, ain't no dude. Like, I did that. We went through it. We did it. I ate a pussy. And then every other situation we had, I kind of set it up like that. Like, hey, tell me to do this so that I could do it.
Wow.
Because ain't no man gonna say, no, I'm not gonna set her up so you can eat her pussy. Like, no. And then it started to be like, okay, hey, this is my first time. So I would kind of play him and play her separately, but I'm in the middle, like, pulling strings.
Did she ever catch on?
No.
Did you guys ever? Did you two ever eventually start having sex by yourself? Well, with each other, just solely the two.
We did. It wasn't often that we did so. However, we did have sex, and oh my God, it was just so. Once we started having sex with each other, her personality was different, which I always like that in women. Their, regular personality and then their sexual personality. I'm eating her pussy and she's like, you miss this pussy, you like this pussy, you've been wanting pussy in your face. Like, she knew. And then eventually, leading up to that, I would say stuff like, oh, I had a dream last night that I ate your pussy.
Mm-hmm. Did she become more participatory?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's times where it's so funny when I talk about it. I get these flashbacks. But there was times where there was a time in Sacramento. Okay, I'm giving that location. But there was a time.
It's just me and you talking. There's nobody else in here.
Right. There was a time up in Sac where we were going to like this biker party, and I met this dude, and I told her, come out here with me. And while we were fucking, she was riding his face, and I was riding his dick, and then we switched. I was riding his face and she was riding his dick. And then he flipped me over and started fucking me. And then she sat on my face by herself. Like, I'll never forget that. That was like, okay, she's in.
Okay, so let me ask you this then. All right, so she initially identified as straight. What was that? How did that first one-on-one time that you guys engaged? How did that come about? How did that go? Because I'm thinking maybe um, because the way you set up the situation for you to eat her, that she's probably still identifying as straight. It's just this is just something that
Yeah.
we do. So how did that transition into all right? Well, really, you're not so straight anymore.
I think she just still identifies as straight. I never challenged her as that. I never challenged her about that. So the first time that we came together, it always was like a circumstance, like, oh, we're drinking, or can you give me a massage? And she would pretend like she's asleep, and I'm massaging her, but I'm touching her body,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm rubbing on her ass, crazy fat ass, like, oh my god,
Mm-hmm.
and opening her legs, and she's like, pretending to be asleep, just totally pretending because I'm flipping you over on your back, and you're eventually moving your own body,
Mm-hmm.
But it was more comfortable for her that way. Now there was times where we had just had a threesome, and for example, we were having a threesome, and the guy, I'm we just all finished fucking, and she's still like laying on the couch, and she's playing with her pussy still, which is like I'm still into it, and so she called me over,
Mm.
called me over, and he's on his way out to work. He's like, y'all can be here when you get back. And we're like, yeah, we gonna hang out all day, you know. And we did. We hung out. We fucked all day. Smoked all day. Fucked all day. That was like the best. That was the best.
Wow. Have you ever pursued a woman? Like solely I see her and I'm going in for the kill.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
What type of women do you like?
Um, Number one, black woman,
Well, yeah, well
and
documented and established.
definitely well documented. Oh my god. And two, I don't have this idea in my head where my woman has to be super skinny or super thick. I like small to BBW.
Okay.
I've been with a girl who's like, I don't really like the whole big, beautiful woman term, but I've been
Me
with a
either.
girl who has been, kind of um, on the fuller side. But I was attracted to her. So I'm not, and the attraction isn't always about physical for me.
Mm-hmm.
But for men, I like women who are open minded. I like women who are nasty, really. Who get, I've never met a woman who's, well, no, I won't say that. I have met a woman who's just as nasty as me, even almost more. And when it comes to sex,
Okay. Do you do you prefer the more femme types or do you prefer the more masculine? Or does it matter?
the femme types, I've never been with a stud. Um, Not that they haven't approached me, but I just never, I'm not opposed to it. I just have never gone that route. I don't think they really like me because I am very feminine, but I'm very bossy. So it's not going to work with, having this idea of being masculine and being in charge. And I'm like, bitch, we both got pussies. Calm the fuck down. Like, the fuck.
Right. Do you feel like you have the same control over women that you do men?
You know, I could, is one thing. I could. But I know that some women I can see it instantly.
Mm.
The same way that men uh, prey on women. I can see it like, oh, she's gonna be easy for me to fuck, or she's gonna be hard for me to fuck, or she's the type of bitch that I can fuck and get money from. And I use the term bitch loosely. I talk about women sometimes the way that men talk about women
Right.
or talk about. So I don't want anybody fucking coming for me, you know, because I do identify with feminism, feminist movement,
Mm.
but I don't want to think in just because say the word bitch, but I'm not on that side. Anyways, because my personality is what it is overall, regardless of my views.
Right.
Um, but I don't. I think sometimes women have a power over me.
That's interesting. How so?
Yeah.
Is it a power that
They.
men don't have?
Yeah. With women, I'm more than willing to shell out some cash because I understand that that's kind of almost the way that society has set it up, where a man pays for dates and a man, does pays for drinks and things like that. So I'm on that side. Like, okay, well, I want to take her out because I want to fuck her. So yeah, I'm gonna pay for her drinks, or or surprise her and say, oh, I'm gonna pay. I got this. No big deal. But it's already premeditated.
It
But they
almost.
do.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
But they do have a power over me to make me almost bashful sometimes. The beauty, the beauty in women, just makes me like, wow, she's gorgeous. I'm nervous. I get those same almost feelings that men get. I don't get intimidated, but I do have that. Wow, I like her, and I want to fuck her. So I got to do what I need to do, jump through the hoops I need to jump through in order to get to the pussy.
It almost sounds like, on one hand, it almost sounds like you use what you've learned with men to approach women, and then on the other hand, it's, I don't know. I guess it seems like maybe you approach women the way you want men to approach you. Is that fair?
Breaking it down, yeah, I would say so. Respectful, gentle, understanding, giving. That is how men should approach me, and that's how I approach women. And sometimes I approach men like that too, but
Okay.
that's far and few.
All right. So let me change gears to a little bit. Because don't get me wrong,
Mm-hmm.
that was awesome. And thank you for that. Is there any limits to what you would do sexually? And are they
Limits.
different between for men and women?
Well, there's no real limits. I would say the only limits that I have are, I mean, and this comes from being also a sex worker. I don't deal with any shit, scat.
Oh yeah.
Um, that uh, I don't deal with any blood. Um, Honestly, that's probably about it. I've done different role playing scenarios that some would find extremely taboo. They are taboo, but yeah, I those are pretty much my limits. I mean, anal sex, yeah, I'm cool with that, but I'm not walking around letting every nigga like me in the ass. Hell no.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that's funny. I just
Mm.
flashed. But no, that's really it. That's the only limit. I mean, I guess sometimes people ask stuff, and I'm like, oh no, that's not for me. But I'm well around it.
What's the craziest thing a guy has asked you to do or requested of you?
A regular, like somebody that I'm just fucking, or like a client. This is two
Hmm.
different.
Well,
No.
let's talk about somebody that you just fucking. Because we haven't even scratched the surface yet about your clients.
uh, the I mean, guys are pretty regular. I've had a guy. Mm, the craziest thing that I guess some guys that get off on the thrill of public sex,
Mm-hmm.
or the thrill guys who are cheating get on the thrill of almost getting caught. So I've been in situations where, hey, my wife is going to be home at 5 o'clock, but I want to fuck you at 4:30.
Really?
Yeah, the crazy thrill of almost getting caught. So I want to say that's not the craziest. I've done a lot of crazy things, so it's hard to kind of pick it all out. Besides going to like even going to sex clubs and going and picking up on a couple, or me and a guy friend going to the Power Exchange in San Francisco. I don't know if it's still in business. I don't think so. But going to the sex club and fucking in front of people.
I want to jump into the website. I know you're getting ready to start a new website. Tell me a little bit about that.
So I've been lacking on that. I have a lot of followers that are like, Monroe, write a book, put these stories in long form instead of in tweet form. I don't even storyfy the tweets. So I bought a domain and I have a website in progress, divamonroe.com.
Okay.
And it will be, stories will be there, which is the main point of it, just for me to be able to write my erotic stories and almost like journaling my sexual experiences, pulling them from my memory. I have journals. All my life, I've always been a diary girl. So I have diaries, journals. There were diaries when I was younger. As an adult, they're journals.
Mm-hmm.
But so yeah, the website would just feature, stories, also, a little bit more education on domination. I like that. I get a lot of questions in my DMs, just, sexual questions, personal questions, whatever, opinions on different things. And I also have a section for that, like a Q&A. And that's also, what my podcast will be, is me just kind of randomly talking about different topics I've spoken about on Twitter, different things that pique my interest. And the same with, the question and answer sort
Okay.
of format.
Okay. Now, before I go any further, you mentioned about domination. Are you a dominatrix?
I am a dominatrix.
Oh, okay. How long?
I've been a dominatrix for a few years now. I developed that out of just one client. From one client asked me to do something that was out of the norm for me, and I realized that was it. That is how I'm going to capitalize on being a sex worker versus regular shit like selling pussy or, I've never been a sucking dick for money type of girl. But pussy is pussy. I mean, it take a nigga 15 seconds to come, and I've made my 300, so it's not a big deal. Um, but I am a dominatrix. I've been a dominatrix for a few years now. It just started with me having a client, a black man, and which I rarely actually seen because they were out of control. But anyways,
Hmm.
black, a black doctor, and he was massage client because I was more of a masseuse. Which would provide happy endings. I'm dressed in lingerie, very private atmosphere. So, selling pussy was always a one off. It was never the it was never the main profession, I should say.
Okay.
So, anyways, I'm giving him a massage, and he's like, have you ever done a prostate massage? And I was like, no, what is that?
Hmm.
And he, explained to me is massaging the prostate inside of him. And
Okay.
we went to the store, got gloves, did all this.
That escalated quickly.
And yeah, I mean, I was down. I mean, he was paying me like $400, like down, just like that. Okay, yeah, let's do it. So we get into it, and I've never really seen a man. I mean, I've played with guys' asses before, but not. I don't think I understood what I was really reaching for on the inside when I did. But he kind of walked me through it, told me where to touch, how to touch. And I've never seen anyone come so hard, like shooting 20 feet in the air. I was kind of pissed because it kind of got on my curtains. But and he became my most loyal client. Even to this day, he still sends me money. We don't have any sort of interaction, but he still sends me money almost like every month. He sends me money. It's almost like one of his bills.
Like a retainer? He got you on retainer?
I wouldn't say that, but maybe that's kind of how he would look at it. He does have me on call. He'll call me to come back to Houston. He's flown out to California. He's met me in different cities before. When I'm at different in another city, he'll fly there to meet up with me. So, and I mean, he pays me every month, and he still pays me when he sees me. I mean, so I never lose. Wow. So he's the one who kind of started my domination, because once he opened up that door to kind of do the prostate massage, then he asked me to fuck him with a strap on. Okay. Which was not new to me, because I mean, I guess this may be another story for another day, but my ex-husband actually liked that.
Oh, okay.
So that wasn't new to me. I just didn't know that outside of selling pussy, which is regular prostitution, that there was this entire of money to be made, an entire underground market of fetishes and quirks and kinks. I almost was once he opened my eyes to that, and that was it. I was shut down the massage business, 100% domination. And that was, it was amazing to me. And the money was so great. The money is so great, because I still do domination. I had an appointment this morning. But the money is out of control. I mean, you charge, $1,000 for an hour long session, and
just to beat the shit out of these dudes.
$1,000. I didn't. Just to beat them, to humiliate them, foot fetish. I had an Asian man that really liked stockings, not like fishnets, but actual, I'm wearing these to a job interview stockings, Wow. And he really liked to touch my legs. All he did was touch my legs the whole time, and just kiss my feet and just be dominated, walk him around on a leash. I mean, that's that entire domination world is empowering, and it's a real moneymaker. So I thank my most loyal doctor for that.
Let me ask you this question. So you've dealt with, particularly in this profession, many different dudes of different races. Have you noticed certain trends that you could say is more common in one race than it might be in another? Like, for instance, what do you find more common with black dudes, Asian dudes, white dudes, what have you?
Black men are...
Find out next Monday when we continue with part 2 of the Monroe interview. I'd like to thank our guests for coming on today. And if you'd like to be a guest on the show, send an email to otap@writeme.com. You can find the show on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Stitcher. Just search OTAP, that's OTAP, or the show name. On behalf of our guest, I'm your host, Corey, and I'll see you back here next week On the Air podcast, starring you.